Hey everyone, this is Rob with the news live from Cannes, and we are very lucky today to have a partner from the global consulting firm McKinsey. Ed C. is with us. Hey Ed.
How you doing?
Good.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. Beautiful day.
It really is. It really is. The place is beautiful. Weather's beautiful. What more can you ask
What
for?
more can you ask for, right? Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's really good to have you. And, just to kind of kick it off, to warm up a little bit, to tell you a little bit why we're here. We run a conference called the Brand Safety Summit as part of the Brand Safety series that we do around the world. And more we're thinking, as we think about how we're expanding it, we're starting to believe that brand safety is current events. Current events is brand safety. Because if something happens, on a data protection law, or someone has it ultimately will fall under the brand safety category, and that's how we're starting to think about it, which is why we're doing the news. But I'm curious if you think that we're thinking it the right way.
Absolutely, absolutely. When I talk to my clients, when I see what they're doing, brand safety is pervasive. The things that are going on in the moment, the things that they're adjacent to, the things that occur near them, by them, in the world as a whole, how they refer to things, what regrets they may have after they refer to things, all of ththese are brand safety. It is pervasive, from data to analytics to privacy to world events. It is really pervasive.
Cool. Well, we're going with that, and thank you for that as well. You've been in Cannes a couple days. What have you seen? What's the most interesting thing, fun, shocking that you've seen since you've been here?
It's always the best piece of it. It's just seeing the people, meeting the people, hearing what's going on, talking to them.
Yeah.
I also love looking at the work.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time yesterday going through the various pieces, seeing the work that's out there, seeing the things with Ukraine, all the different pieces, and really remembering how much we touch the world and how the world touches us.
Yeah.
From safety to everything else to the current economic environment, just seeing what's going on, seeing the brilliance of the work, seeing the care in the work, and seeing the joy and the impact that it has.
Isn't it amazing? I mean, again, I have young kids, and I always tell them, this industry is 20 years old, and we touch half of the world's population.
At least.
At least.
At least.
I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy, and the impact that we have, and it's really not that many people who do the work, right? If you think about it.
It's a terribly small world.
Yeah.
Every time I come to an event like this, I'm like, how many people am I going to run into? And it's always good to see new people moving through, and some of us beginning to move out and making way for new folks. But it's always wonderful to see folks understand the interactions that go on and the ecosystem that we create and the ecosystem that we live in.
Yeah. So, Ed, what are you looking to accomplish this week? Like, if you had three things, and I said I need to get this done this week, what are you working on?
I look at this as a way to understand the pulse of the industry, to understand what's going on, to understand what my clients are thinking, understand what the world is thinking about this. Where's media going? Where's brand safety going? What's the pervasive theme? What's the underlying trends? That's what I'm looking to see, talk about, and understand.
And what have you learned so far?
The economic situation is really front of mind for everybody. From media inflation to the actual cost of goods, consumer behavior, everybody's sitting here and saying, is it 2008? What is this going to be? What's it going to look like? What are the consumer responses going to be? And how, if I'm on the advertising side, what am I going to do as a brand marketer? What am I going to handle? What's my budget going to look like?
Yeah. Well, that kind of tees up well to what we're thinking, because we're doing the news, and we definitely want to report on the news, and framing the question, right? Gas prices are up, food prices are up, airline ticket prices are up, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Media prices are up.
Media prices are up, right? So the input costs are certainly up as it relates to everything marketers are trying to market. Right. So in that as a backdrop, we're in a recession, we're going to a recession, it's maybe going to be a soft landing, who knows? What are you starting to advise your clients on marketing spend second half 2023?
When I first went into this business, people used to say, you've gone into a wonderful business, a truly sexy business and exciting business. I'm like, I'm kind of in the waste management business. As we move into whatever we're going to call this economic time, and I'm not going to call it a recession, I'll wait till people who are paid to call things a recession call it a recession, but there's definitely pricing pressure out there. What I'm seeing my clients do, what we're talking to them about, is how can they protect their investments? How can they protect their brands? How can they keep the connection to their consumers? What does that look like? How can they begin to look at the efficiency side of the question while maintaining the effectiveness? We all know, and we saw it in 2008, and we saw it through other downturns, if you shut off your spend, you erode your brand. And people need to think about different ways that they can really look to maintain the contacts, maintain the touch points in ways that are cost effective and efficient.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it's an interesting question, right? Are we in 2001 or are we in 2008? Right?
I
Because they were
remember
both
both
very
of them.
different. Yeah. And they're both very different, right?
They
They're
are.
both very different. And I would say we're probably closer to 2001
Mhm.
than we are to 2008 because I think that from a mass standpoint, this hasn't affected a lot of people. In 2008 you had real estate get hit. You had bank stocks get hit. You had stuff that was like in like the most safest things in people's portfolio were getting eroded. In 2001, the risk got taken out of the market. So I think and on Main Street, other than prices going up, the consumer's pretty healthy, right?
It'll be interesting to see. Very much agree with you on the core numbers
Yeah,
there. I think there is a tipping point that could happen where prices accelerate to the point where you do begin to get damages in real estate and other places.
yeah.
We're not there yet,
Mhm.
but it'll be interesting to see where it goes.
And so then what do marketers think? Like what if, kind of laying it out, is this 2001, 2008, that question, what do you think, what are they telling you? What do they believe?
Well, a couple of things I think they believe.
Yeah.
First, they are thrilled that they're a little bit more agile than they used to be.
Hmm.
They really appreciate that the advertising industry is more agile than it used to be. Budgets can move, touch points being maintained, and people can rebalance what they need to do much more quickly than they could in 2001, than they could in 2008. I think there are some factors here that they're concerned about, which is how can they maintain their reach? Reach is becoming more and more of a problem. Everybody who relied on linear TV, we know what's happening there. So folks are starting to say, how can I maintain my reach? How can I maintain my overall brand presence? How can I not overly pivot to performance
Yep.
and begin to erode my power?
Got it. Got it. Well, that's great. Thanks for the insight. There's some optimism there for sure.
Without a doubt.
But conservative optimism, but but good to hear. Well, thanks everyone. Thank you, Ed. And that's the news live from Cannes.
Thank you.